Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Robert here with the Hustle Nation, and we're not very much hustling this morning. Yesterday, we were having to run a sander. I'll tell you a funny story. If you're in the trade industry, okay, carpenter, painter, trim carpenter, crown molding, that kind of thing, about the best tool brand out there is called Festool. They are bar none the Cadillac, the Rolex, the Bugatti of whatever it is that they make, okay? And do some research on them yourself. They're absolutely fantastic product. Okay, and they got some really cool stuff. They've got this saw that comes with a track that you can like lay out on a piece of wood, fasten it down, and then you use this saw to cut, absolutely perfect straight lines with it and everything. It's a really fantastic product. They stand behind it. They're very regulatory with their pricing. It's not like you're going to find the $800 saw somewhere for $500 that is a stocking dealer, because they regulate how much price difference it's possible for somebody to do. The other thing about Festool is they got one heck of a resale value to them. Now, I will say this, a lot of their stuff is priced so high that most people will never buy it. But guess what? They're still in business. That's pretty cool. And I've got this house that's, been sitting for about 2.5 years, and I started working with a coach, and in the first 10 minutes of talking with this coach, I told her, I'm one of the hardest working people you're ever gonna meet. And she brought that to my attention. And she said, in 10 minutes, you've told me 5 times, 7 times, you're one of the hardest working people I'll ever meet. And what I need to do is I need you to be one of the smartest working people I will ever meet. And the thing about it is that you associate hard work with success. And as we got further into the coaching relationship, one of the other things that we found out is that I really like finding houses. I really like negotiating the houses. I really like purchasing the houses. And then after that takes place, I'm basically done. And I had a number of properties that have been sitting. And what ended up happening is, when I sat there and I looked at it, I paid cash for these properties, so they really don't cost me any money sitting. Of course, they cost you with taxes and insurance. But when you put it in terms that you've lost $90,000 in rent because of these properties sitting, that's a whole different ball game. So I sold one of the properties, and we are in the process of getting this other one done. November 1st is the goal. All the sheetrocks. This one we took all the way down to the studs. It was one of these that bought it. It was in such bad shape. The more I started doing, the worse it got. And I just got to a point where, I want to do everything brand new with this property. I don't want to be in a situation where, I'm having to worry about anything. So we went ahead and did it. Got all new windows in there. We cut a back door. There was no back door going from the house into the backyard. There was one going from the carport, but then you'd have to go through the carport around the side of the side gate. Nah, that ain't happening. Okay. So what we did that. Oh, there's Tyson. Lay down. Sorry about that. That's Tyson, the real estate pit bull. He was making her cameo appearance right here. Oh, Dad, I'm here. Just letting you know. So, Man, go lay down, dude. So basically I'm saying all of this is that yesterday I'm sanding sheetrock, okay? And I went to this place, they had it listed on Facebook, and it was a sheetrock sander. And it's a pole with a rotating disc on the end of it, and you're supposed to be able to hook it up to a vacuum. Well, I didn't have a vacuum at the job site, so we did 2 bedrooms, walls, ceilings, and everything. Absolutely nasty. Here's a picture of what I look like. So then I'm in a situation where, I'm just, for lack of better words, whooped. And I get a customer that calls and says, hey, I need you to come by, collect a check for, we did a roof. And so I went and collected money on that. And today I'm going to go pick up a wet dry vac and see if we can't fashion something up to help with that. And the thing is that Festool makes one of these systems that is absolutely phenomenal, and everybody that owns one rants and raves about it. But it's a dust extraction system with a drywall sander, and they're about $2,800. And you can buy something that's real equivalent to that for about $800. And I am asking myself, where does it make sense to spend all the extra money? Now, I will say this, if we were doing this, day in and day out, absolutely. But here's the thing, I still got 2 other properties or 2 other dwellings that I need to get renovated, and we're going to be doing those there. And if I ever go and scrape ceilings somewhere, to get the popcorn off and do a knockdown or a orange peel finish, then this device is the absolute very best, because approximately 98% of the dust that's made by this device you never get to see. And the dust extraction, the vacuum of it, has some type of HIPAA rating to it. And don't ask me about all that stuff, because I don't know. It's Redneck Robert. But I just know this tool is absolutely badass. And so I'm contemplating going and purchasing one. The other thing today, I'm supposed to be buying a truck. This is something that will, it needs a little bit of work, shocks, things of that nature, but it is pretty cool. It's a 2003 extended cab, 4-wheel drive with a monster 8.1 liter. That's 496 Detroit cubic inches coming at you. Chevrolet, nice truck, runs out good and everything like that. And the reason for that is that Carla doesn't have a vehicle that she can go and pick up sheetrock and plywood, things of that nature and everything. And so for me to get the business to the point where it's a little more self-sustaining, that I don't always have to be here, I need for her to be in a situation where if that's what it takes for a job to be getting done when I'm not around, that's what I've got to do. So we're going to get this truck, and we purchased that today. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing is that if I ever have a situation where they're diesel, then I've got a backup truck that can pull the dump trailers without any problem. That 496, it also comes with the Allison transmission, so that's a pretty badass truck. Granted, it's a gas burner, it's not going to have the torque of the diesel, but it's also not going to have the maintenance cost of the diesel either, so that's a good thing. I say all of this to kind of bring it in that, doing this whole wealth building thing, it's funny, the hardest money I ever made or put away, saved up, was the first $10,000, because that was absolutely brutal. And it seemed like for a year, 2 years that, we would get to a point where there was $9,000 in the bank, and then we would get, there's a check coming on a job and everything, and I knew for sure it'd put me over the $10,000, but nope, there's expenses, so boom, now we're down to $8,200, and then it would go to $9,500, and then it would go down to $7,000. And it was always this yo-yo for a long time, but we didn't stop, we didn't quit. And so basically, your first 100,000 is going to be made from working hard, and the harder you work, the quicker you're going to get there. Your first million, it'll come from working a whole lot smarter. And sometimes you've got to spend some money on some things that won't immediately make you some money, but in the long run, they will. And as long as you take a look at that and understand this is exactly where it is that I need to go. You know, we've done in the last 90 days a lot of work for people that are outside of my business, okay? And so there's money in the bank, meeting payroll and whatnot. I'm down a person, fired a guy 3 weeks ago. And so I've been on my tools a whole lot more. Where we're at is I want to go ahead and get this one house done, and we got a 5-plex that we're buying. It's actually a triplex and a duplex on one piece of property. Some of the things that are going to occur with it is it needs some work right off the bat. However, there's 4 units that are occupied. They're paying rent way under rent, okay? I'm talking like there's a studio there they're paying $325. There's a 1-1 that's paying $350, a 1-1 that's paying $335, and then a 2-1 that's paying $550. You know, and the 2-1 should be at about $850 or $9. Unfortunately, they're under a lease that will be, we can't do anything till next July, but the rest of them are not. And so basically, I'm going to go up on the rent $350 on each one of those units, or they can find a new place to live, because even at $650 a month, they're still under market rent. So there you have it. We got a lot going on. It's tough getting out of bed. We're enjoying some hustle in the mug. We got man's best friend right there. Yep, Dad. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, everybody. Yep. Just take your dog for a walk and be considerate of pit bulls. So have yourself a very wonderful day. Be